I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're at the press conference to formally announce KSI versus Joe Fournier, May 13th, at the OVO Arena in Wembley, even though Joe thinks it's at Wembley Stadium. I think he made reference to.
Yeah, Wembley Stadium, same difference.
Same thing. David Haye, first of all, how are you?
I'm not bad, feel good, feel refreshed, feel healthy. Looking forward to this little scrap.
We'll talk about that in a second. Obviously, I only saw you, 3 days ago, so yeah. Twice in 4 days ago. Twice in 4 days, yeah. It's a treat for IFL to have Haye on.
There you go. It's a nice O2 Arena experience. AJ doing his thing, it was good to be there.
Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the shove first of all. I mean, it started off a few words between KSI and Joe, and then I think KSI said to him, "Why have you got your glasses on?" And then Joe had a moment, gave him the shove.
The infamous shove. Yeah, they was in each other's face. I think Joe got a bit bored of it all and wanted to get him away from him. But it's, that doesn't mean anything. I think you got to respect KSI for, after particularly seeing what happened to Jake Paul against Tommy Fury. Jake Paul was the favourite to win that fight. I was surprised that he was, but the boxer won the fight. Tommy Fury, who's a real boxer, professional boxer, been doing it for years, won the fight when it came to it. KSI's tried to do the same thing now. Although Joe is a little older than Tommy Fury, he's still a 9-0 pros. He did an exhibition me a year and a half ago. Although he spends a lot of his time in nightclubs around the world, running his Bombardier empire, he trains every day. We hang out all over the world, and what we do every morning is we go to the gym and we train. That's just what we do, and that's how he lives. I don't think KSI and their team understand that. They just think he's out partying every night, which he is, but he doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs. He drinks a bit, but he's in decent nick. He's a young 40-year-old, and I just think they've done their sums wrong, and they just think because KSI is physically, he's probably physically superior in terms of he's in his prime. He's 29 years old, super athletic. He probably, if they had a running race, he'd probably beat him in a sprint. But in a boxing match, in a ring, when they start trading blows, Joe's been punched up a hell of a lot more. He's had those hard sparring rounds with Chris Eubank Jr., James DeGale. He's been in there with everybody, and you can't make up for that type of experience. It was a little while ago, but Joe's got that fighting confidence because he's been there and done it. And KSI, this is his first ever chance of sharing a ring with someone under the lights who's had a boxing match before. It's a big difference.
There is a little bit of a myth around Joe Fournier, because obviously we see kind of what we see on social media. We know he's had the fights he's had at professional level. We know he's ranked within the WBA. He won a WBA Intercontinental title, I believe. International title. But I think, and at the age he's at as well, do you think like they're looking at these factors and thinking this is someone perfectly placed for KSI to kind of 100%. Deliver what he needs to deliver?
100%. What in there, the way that I can see how they're seeing it. Joe Fournier, former top 10 WBA ranked fighter, WBA international belt, the same belt Joshua Buatsi held, and he's unbeaten in 9 fights as a professional boxer, and he's 40 years old, so he's past his prime. What a good scout that would be for KSI moving forward in his career. I get it, it makes sense. But there's that 40-year-old who used to be top 10 in the world can still throw a right hand. He can still move forward. He's naturally bigger than he's 200 pounds now versus KSI, who said he's already on fight weight, which is 180 pounds. So he's already right today 20 pounds smaller than Joe. So I think they miscalculated.
Are you convinced that Fournier can knock out KSI?
If he's able to land his shots, the last thing they say you lose is a punch. Joe's got a 100% knockout ratio, and I've seen him knock out lots of people in the gym. I remember we had the, I think it was the English army guys came down to the gym. The amateurs, the sort of good level amateurs, came down to the gym and he's mixed them. He chinned a few of those. He brought other sparring partners in. I've watched him knocking people out over the years, and one of his things is he's very heavy-handed. If he catches you one shot, you're going to buck you in legs. If he catches you with a second one, he's going to put you out. So, and that's against, you know, decent boxers. KSI is a YouTuber who's been doing boxing, and he hasn't been doing it full time either. You know, he's doing WWE. He's got the Prime drink. He's got so many other obligations. How much time has he given to boxing? It looks like he's been putting it in the gym. Look at his body. Look at his physique. You know how much time he's in the gym. His coaches fly over to LA whilst he's doing his WWE stuff to train in between that. But in an ideal world, if you're fighting a real fighter, you want to forget everything else and just focus 100% on boxing. And I think he needs that to give himself the best chance. But he's obligated to do other things, so which doesn't work in his favour, in my opinion.
Well, not long to find out. Next month, May the 13th, at the OVO Arena, not the stadium, at the OVO Arena. It's going to be a very interesting week. Yeah. But obviously, you're in the mix somewhere. It's always interesting when you plant yourself in these situations, because we know as content getters, it's going to be taken up a notch, shall we say?
Yeah, I like the big shows, and one thing I've realised with this Misfits outfit is it's the new generation. I said in the top table earlier, all of my children, for the first time ever, you know, Kingston, who's 9, Senna, who's 12, and CASSIUS, who's 14, all asked me independently, can you take me to the KSI fight at the O2 Arena? Can you take me? I'm like, yeah, the first time. I've asked them to go to shows over the years, not interested. Oh, I might be too late. No, they all wanted to make sure they went down there, and I think that's the evolution of boxing. To keep boxing thriving, you need the kids to be interested in boxing, because if they come and watch KSI, they're then going to see, you know, Lomachenko, they're going to see, you know, Garcia, they're going to be involved in real professional world championship boxing, versus not being connected with the YouTuber side of things and just missing the whole boxing thing, which they've done up until now. My kids have missed professional boxing because they've been looking at something else online. Only now are they starting to watch boxing. So I think it's the shot in the arm boxers needed for many years to get the new generation, you know, connected with boxing.
Just a couple of things, obviously, before I do let you go. We did speak about, obviously, post-fight about Anthony Joshua, but I didn't want to, before I asked you about that, refer to, were you surprised about the news that surfaced yesterday about Amir Khan, David?
Yeah, I saw his interview that he did, where I think he read out what UCAD, the UCAD report, which they said that they believed whatever he took was unintentional, and the amount that he had in him didn't have any performance-enhancing benefits. And they gave him the minimum penalty, which was 2 years. So, you know, he had a drug test before that, which he passed, and the one that he failed for such a small amount of whatever, I don't know what it was that he took, but the UCAD have said that however much it was, wouldn't have had any beneficial effects. So I don't really get I don't really get the big drama about it.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a different...
This is what I watched an interview, but I watched the Amir Khan interview where he read out from the UCAD what UCAD, because that's the only, because everyone else has got opinions. UCAD are the ones who dished out the penalty, so they say what did they say?
Well, I think that from what I gather from yesterday, that due to strict liability, that's the reason for the 2-year ban. But there's also accepted that it was taken, the substance of Osterine wasn't taken intentionally, but it's still giving him a 2-year ban because of strict liability. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there might be.
He's retired now, so
he's retired now. Was there any need to give him a 2-year ban if he was a retired fighter?
If UCAD feel that's their policy to just give people a ban, I've seen them do that before, where someone has proven to them that what they took wasn't performance enhancing, and they didn't know because what it said on the bottle that they took was different. I know they got a 4.5-year ban. So I've seen crazy stuff happen in the past. They need to it needs a full overhaul, because what works in one country is different from another country, and one, VADA, WADA, UK, it's just so confusing. I don't even know what the hell's going on with it. It's a mess, but for Amir Khan, after his whole career from the amateurs, where he'd have been on the strict the strictest of drug measures, never had an issue with it until after he's retired, and it was such a small amount that it wouldn't give him any benefits, and they said it was unintentional. Why is anyone even mention it? Doesn't make sense.
A lot of grey areas in this situation, obviously off the wake of the whole Benny
The
Ubek
thing
stuff.
was, whatever he had wasn't. The whole idea of the drugs is it's performance enhancing. You're taking something that's going to unnaturally enhance your performance. What he had didn't enhance his performance. They said it wouldn't enhance it, and it was unintentional. So why is anyone even mentioned? They should have just not said anything and just given him his ban that he wasn't going to fight anyway. Anyway, it's not my fight, is it? Really?
Okay, just last one, just to recap from obviously Saturday, we spoke for a couple of minutes afterwards. Dillian Whyte came over at one point, and you suggested that was the next fight for Anthony Joshua against Dillian Whyte.
Perfect, that is the fight. After that performance where he got a win, that was it. In my opinion, AJ got a win. He went out there and controlled the fight, controlled the range, landed the bigger shots, and comfortably won the fight. And big tick for Anthony Joshua there. Is that the performance he needs going in against someone like Dillian Whyte? We'll find out when they both get in the ring. You know, both of them had the same opportunity to try and get Franklin out, who's a very underrated fighter. He's super
Correct.
skillful. Very, very skillful fighter. But I think if Anthony Joshua genuinely wants to have a shot at beating a Usyk or a Tyson Fury, and to beat those guys, you would assume he'd have to get a knockout. He's tried doing it on points with Usyk before, it didn't work. Tyson Fury, you can imagine Tyson Fury being a nightmare to get to, so you've got to get him out of there. You've got to knock him down like Wilder tried to do, or nearly did. He needs to be able to get his big, strong body connected to these fighters' heads in a real quick and effective way. He was landing his right hand, or he was landing 2 double jabs, and he was jumping out of range. There's a couple of things that he does that could make things a lot easier for him, but maybe I don't know what his mission objective was. I myself thought it would have been something similar to when I had the fight against Derek Chisora, when I wanted to make a statement. After coming off my loss against Vladimir Klitschko, I wanted to do something that no one's done before and really show everyone who's the main man in the division. Obviously, after coming off a loss, so getting Derek out there in 5 rounds was the way to do it, and that's what I did. I was hoping he'd have that same mindset, thinking, okay, I'm going to chuck the kitchen sink at this guy, I'm going to bust him up. And if I don't get him out of that, he's going to be so busted up, I'm just going to smash him to the end of the fight. Not the mindset he came into the ring with. He was happy to just win each round clearly and comfortably. So it was, how do you pick holes in someone who wins the fight really easy? But it's not just about that fight, in my opinion. If he wants to get back to the top spot, he's got to, particularly with Dillian, he's going to need to really have a different mindset, because that trying to keep it too clean against someone like Dillian might not be the way to go. I think he's going to have to mix it up a little bit and use his athleticism.
We shall see what happens. Okay, David, appreciate your time. Just going to leave you with one comment that Joe Fournier said to me today.
Go on.
He said, if David Haye can't knock me out, what the fuck are you going to do? That's what he said to me about KSI.
Technically, I didn't knock him out. I knocked him down in was it the last round? I knocked him down, but I didn't knock him out. So yeah, if I can't knock him out, I can't see KSI knocking him out. That's the truth.
Okay, David Haye, appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and no doubt we'll catch up with you again in the near future.
My pleasure. Catch you soon.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,